on. I had to redo my broadcast. I just got my connection got cut off. But Friday night on Spreaker, right on. This is great. I love music and I just love the Deliverance. I just saw these guys here on Spreaker, so I don't really know, who they are or where they're from or anything. I just like their music. Um, I'm an old rocker chick from way back, and back when like Metallica first came out, like I got to see the first Metallica tour, this kind of stuff. Like I'm from the old days, and I just like music, all kinds of different kinds of music actually, not just heavy metal, not just that kind of stuff, but I just like music, and but this music just fits my mood tonight, like food fits my mood most of the time, fits my personality, and it fits my position in life really. I'm an angry person. Bit angry about growing up abused and also watching a lot of my friends be abused. And this kind of music, this just really stirs up a lot of memories for me for sure. I knew when I was growing up, I was a teen in New Mexico, and with a whole lot of other kids that were sort of coming from the same type of situation I was, same type of homes, And a lot of my friends were actually in bands and stuff, and one of my friends was a musician in a band, and he got murdered. He was killed in a drug deal gone bad in his driveway. He was shot down, and he had just done a record deal with his buddies. These guys had been playing forever, for a long, long time, and they finally got a record deal. And they were so good. They were like, they were so good. Metallica was just nothing for them to play Metallica stuff. Like they created their own music and got themselves an album, and then just into a lot of heavy duty drug use. And my friend Robert Panett was murdered in his driveway. And so, I've seen a lot of, like, I really titled this show. At first I was just going to title it Friday Night on Spreaker, but I just want to talk about, walking wounded. And there's a whole lot of young people out there who, they know what it is, they know what it is to really feel so much anger and so much hatred and so much rage, inside of them. And a lot of people think, society thinks, oh, well, look at those punks, what's the matter with those kids. And if you see, children don't naturally have that kind of stuff in their heart. Children growing up, they start out innocent. And the only reason that they end up with a whole lot of hate and rage and garbage in their hearts is because their environment creates that. Like I knew kids who didn't grow up in the same kind of homes that I did, and I knew lots of kids growing up, even in high school, lots of teens and stuff, who were growing up in these normal homes, and they weren't carrying around the same kind of baggage and garbage that me and my friends were. You know, they weren't doing drugs, they weren't on the streets, they weren't, living a life of really, rebellious kind of a lifestyle, and they were just rebelling against the world. And these people didn't feel the need to do that. These friends of mine that went on to like Stanford University and other places, and I'm not sure why, what makes people do these things. You know what I mean? Well, walking wounded, there's so many people on the planet, so many young people who are really truly, walking wounded, just so, so damaged. And what do you do? You know what I mean? A lot of people like to blame and say, well, they should just be able to get over it. And my issues is like, well, you try getting over, you try living in my shoes for about 5 minutes and then try to get over what I've been through. My whole life has been affected by the abuse that I suffered as a child. And I mean, this wasn't just like abuse for like 2 minutes and then that's it. I mean, this was an abusive life all the way through my whole entire life. And then I continued that cycle on myself in self-sabotage and drug abuse and living this kind of a crazy lifestyle and almost killing myself, almost killing my friends, almost getting killed, almost being shot, almost being killed by drug dealers and kidnapped and everything else. And people look at people like me and they say, what a loser, you know. And it's like, well, I straightened myself out at the age of 21. I was doing drugs from the time I was 12 years old, and was a heavy-duty drug user for 9 years until I was 21. And I finally got myself straightened out. But, it took me a few years to get myself sort of on the right track. But the thing is, I remember what it's like to be, one of these kids out here, today, who have nowhere to go, no care, really. They don't care about themselves. They don't care about life. They don't care about anybody. And about the most that they would care about is their friends, who have been there for them. These people that have kind of helped them through some tough times. Because many people don't have families to support them. Many people don't have someone in their life that supports them and says, take a look at what you're doing. You need to change your life so you don't kill yourself, so you don't get killed, so you don't die of a drug overdose, man. See, my problem is I care about people. Otherwise I wouldn't be doing these shows. And I just feel like we all need to care, you know, because none of these teens out here and these young people out here who are hurting themselves and hurting other people ever started out to thinking that that's the way that they would have, that that's the way their life would have gone. And some people, never really stop to think about it too much because it's too painful. Because there's something missing, There's something lacking, and that all started in infancy. That all started in childhood. And I study this stuff, so I know. I study psychology and a whole lot of other stuff. But it's just incredibly sad. There's just so many people out there suffering, and even in just North America. I mean, I'm talking Canada, United States, let alone worldwide. But I'm just looking at the youth of North America, Canada, the U.S. mainly, and these kids out here. This is it's kind of tragic. You know what I mean? It really is, because their lives mean something to me, but they probably don't mean something to them. And that's sad. I mean, I hung around with like gang members and stuff when I was young, and was involved with a lot of stuff like that, and I've always had a heart that cared, And a lot of these gang members would just look at me and they'd be like, just go away, you know what I mean? I'm like, what are you talking? You're just talking a bunch of garbage, you know what I mean? And really what it was is that my family was destroyed by abuse. I watched people suffer my whole life. And I watched two of my brothers kill themselves. I didn't watch them, but two of my brothers killed themselves, and one of my brothers was murdered. And my family was destroyed by the abuse that we suffered as children, and then all the way through, from two abusive parents who really didn't care about their kids. They didn't care at all. I mean, they almost lost us. CPS was involved, Child Protective Services. We had social workers around for a couple of years. They almost lost us, and we were allowed to remain in the home, but only on certain conditions. And those conditions were not met, and we were still left in the home. And the thing is two of my brothers killed themselves, And I have to wake up to this every day. I have to wake up to my past, Like, I can't deny my past. To deny my past is to deny my strength. You know what I mean? Like, to deny my past would be to deny the fact that I actually survived and made it to the mid-40s. I'm 45. I'm going to be 46 pretty soon. And and this is the issue. I remember what it's like to be young, and to be on the streets, and to know that if something happened to me, nobody would care. Nobody would care, because nobody cared, right? Like, that's the whole issue, and that's what's going on with a lot of these young people out here today. So if you're somebody out here who's suffering, and and even though you don't recognize maybe that you're suffering, you're just angry and pissed off, it's really going to be up to you. You know what I mean? You have to care about yourself, and that's all there is to it. Like, by the time I hit 21, I was like, man, I do care about myself. I had been involved in so many crazy situations with drugs and drug dealers and people, all kinds of garbage going down, and I wanted a decent life. I wanted a decent life. One of my brothers had killed himself, and I was just like, I'm going to end up dead. I'm going to end up dead in a drug overdose, which for a long time I actually was hoping that would be the case. That's why I was living the life that I was. But this is just the issue. So many kids out here, they don't have anybody to care about them, and nobody cares about them. Nobody cares whether they come home. Nobody cares whether they live. Nobody cares whether they die. Well, I do. Because nobody cared about my brothers. I did. I mean, one of my brothers sexually abused me, but that's just another situation. It's another point. But the issue is I loved my family, and they didn't love me, and they still don't. The remaining family members that I have don't love anybody. They're just shells of people, just because of the abuse that we suffered as children. So, like, I know how it goes for people. You know what I mean? But I know that you have to care about yourself. And if you don't care about yourself, you won't make it. You have to care about yourself, and you have to make sure that you do the right thing for yourself, And if you're struggling and and you just can't, you just think, man, I don't know how I'm going to do this. I don't know how I'm going to do this. You need to do the right thing and reach out. You know what I mean? Find some people who do care. Find some good people. I had to, sadly enough, like, these friends of mine, like when I was a teenager and hanging around with these people, were really my family. Because, they were the only people that were there for me when I was growing up, right? because my mom was throwing me out of the house, and I was just being beaten on and abused and my whole life, and I was just I relied on my friends very heavily. I used to sleep at their houses and sleep on their couches and hang around in their yards and just sort of hang around at their houses just to avoid going home. And these people were very close to me, very special to me, but their lifestyle was the same as mine for so many years, and I decided I wanted to live and not die from a drug overdose and not die from somebody shooting me in the head because they're looking for drug money or something. And so I thought, well, I got to change this, man. I'm going to die, otherwise I really want to live and I want to try to do this right. And so I got off the drugs, but I had to leave that lifestyle behind. So I told my friends, I said, I can't do this anymore. I love you all. I wish you could come with me, but I can't do this anymore. And within a short time, I mean, who knows where my friends are. Some of them are dead and some of them were killed. Actually, 2 of my friends were murdered. And, this is very, very sad because these kids all started out innocent little children, playing with toys, riding their bikes. But they were abused, every single one of them. And this is what people say, well, what does that really matter? It does matter. It does make a difference. You know what I mean? And we were made to suffer this, and we should never have had to. And the issues is that I will never dislike this kind of tough, I guess, part of myself that says that is wrong. You know what I mean? That screams out, with music and with my own voice and with this other stuff that says no. That is so wrong. And I like that tough part of myself, so I don't want, I will never ever change that part of myself. That's my strength. That's what kept me alive. And so music like this, like these guys, this is the kind of stuff that kept me alive, was this kind of stuff right here. I'm leaving traces behind. Yeah. I would say there is something you can do, and that is to take care of yourself, reach out, and don't allow yourself to be destroyed, don't allow yourself to destroy yourself. Don't allow yourself to suffer on in that, you know what I mean? Make some good decisions for yourself, get yourself some help, take good care of yourself, you know. And you really only have this one chance, this one life, you know. And you know, I'm addicted, really free, except for cigarettes. You know what I mean? Like, I got off the drugs when I was 21, and you know, I can still feel that part of myself. I never lost that. I just lost the drug addiction. You know, I still smoke cigarettes, but it's legal. But the thing is, you know, I got off the drugs and stuff, and did it change things? You know what I mean? Was I still able to appreciate these parts of myself? You know, that were these strong parts. You know what I mean? That say, I can take this, I can do this. You know? No, actually, none of that ever changed. You know what I mean? Like, I still have that, and so I just wish that for everybody. You know what I mean? We just rely on your inner strengths, you know, to help you get through. And if you're having a hard time, you know, you make sure that you reach out, you know, and you get some help, right? Whatever help that is. But make sure that you don't allow yourself to be destroyed, you know what I mean, by your past and or by your situation. You know, so many people out here are suffering, and I know this, you know. And so, you know, you just need to make sure that you reach out, get some help, no matter what kind it is, you know. Like, whatever it is, whatever works for you, but make sure that you do reach out, you know. So have a great weekend, everybody. I don't know if I'll be back on. I'm doing some stuff on Blog Talk Radio, and I'll be doing some writing and other things. And, you know, I take care. Be safe in everything that you do. Think wisely. Make good choices for yourself, you know what I mean? You only have this one chance around, and do the right thing, and you know, have a good life, and make sure that you take good care of yourself. All right, and we'll talk to you again soon. Take good care. Bye-bye.